Okay, so the topic of my presentation would be deep learning model communication over secured network using IBM's Power9 servers. So this was actually what I did was I did one research intern at Object Automation Software Solutions. It's a startup based on Chennai in India. So I'll first tell you a bit about it. So the Object Automation Software Solutions Private Limited objective is to develop AI and cloud-based solutions. Also, they train some students and the technology people to shift from their field to the AI and ML fields. So OA's deep learning solution were developed. The solutions which I have developed were deployed using Raptor's AI box. This box was also built by me, and I also used this IBM AC922 servers, which were provided by University of Oregon. Virtually, I use them. So OA's research work contributes to various sectors as listed over here, like healthcare, automobile, retail, and banking industries. So, what was the motivation behind this approach? That why did I work on this thing? Is that I just kind of figured out that we need an approach towards like a flexible approach towards deep learning. Why? What was the need of that? I'll just say that existing models are very complicated and require intrinsic knowledge about specific programming languages and tools. So setting up the system for any DL model is very much difficult nowadays. But personal systems, the systems which normal people have at their home place or the workplace, lack that much computation power and restricts the capabilities of deep learning models. Hence, we need right now, we need a cloud-based utility to help people in running their deep learning models. But what we did was we built this Power AI system, Power 9 box, which is just like a normal CPU, which can be kept in any office, in any workplace, or in any home, in somebody's home, and they can directly use it for learning their machine learning loads. So what was the problem definition which I took was the problem definition was the basic knowledge was to use the concepts of networking and deep learning and merge them to create something which anyone can use without having any prior technical knowledge, like to bring it towards the users, like layman users. So the overall requirements for the model were that it should be easy to use, should have low latency, should have good performance, should have smooth user interaction interface. The point which I focused on much more was that it should have a smooth user interaction interface. And then it should be relevant to task requirements. That is pretty obvious. So let's go on the problem definition. So what I did was I researched and I went on and investigated some of the research papers which got published this year after the pandemic hit. So there were some papers where I felt something that okay, what we could do is there were some papers and studies being on pneumonia detection from before and like around 2015 time. So what I did that we could definitely use it for this COVID patient detection using lungs X-ray images, just to imitate the needs of masses. This could probably be a very quick solution to detect if a patient is COVID affected or not. For this, I reached out to my local doctors, like the local doctors in the local medical colleges, and I collected some lungs data set of people who were affected by COVID. So Object Automation helped me in getting that data set. So now what approach did I follow was that first of all I wanted to set up a running server so that we can transfer files. So first of all what I did was that I set up an FTP server and I tested it that this using FileZilla and Android ATP that we were able to transfer files through and back from the server to client and from the client to server. So after this, what was happening was that first of all, we have to make this secure because there is medical data associated with this, which is very personal and private data. We cannot just lose it on the way. So initially the Wireshark was able to sniff packets from it. So to avoid this privacy issues, I put up some OpenSSL security stuff over here. And then this in the milestone 2, after using OpenSSL, when I again tried to sniff the packets through Wireshark, so as you people can see over here that Wireshark was not able to sniff any of the details from the packets. So now the next milestone was to work upon the deep learning solution. So I got the deep learning data set from Object Automation, as I told you earlier. And then what I did was, what my data set was that it contained 25 X-ray images of patients who were tested positive for COVID. Since 25 images are a very less amount, so what I did, I just augmented it by applying various modulations and filters to make just enough data to support the learning of a neural net. Around 250, 300 data set I created. After that, I did the literature survey of various techniques and models that work best in medical image retrieval tasks. So the final solution which I came up, it's just like a norm which I followed. I did not go much deep into it that why I should choose this, but it's just like a norm which I should follow. I thought because many people were following and they had so much great research work published on that. So what I did was that I used this VGG16 model. So this is just a snapshot of the data set which I had. So these type of images I had, but they were very less in number. So I just augmented them and produced a much larger data set. But later on, after my program was ready, and recently there is a huge data set present on Kaggle. So I am working on that to fine tune my model further. But right now what I did was this, that I used this transfer learning approach since I had very less photos. So I wasn't able to train the entire model. So I thought of using transfer learning approach. So what does the transfer learning approach says is that there are two parts of the model. In this case, one is the feature extractor and one is the classification model. Because finally what I have to do is that finally I have to classify whether this lens image falls in the COVID category or COVID negative category. So I have to distinguish whether the image is a COVID positive patient or COVID negative patient. But the feature extractor part is of no difference. Like the feature extractor is of same thing. If it is, I mean to say that if I have already built a feature extractor part for a pneumonia detection model, who is extracting features from the medical images, then I can definitely use those weights to extract features in these medical images. Just that the classifier model weights and hyperparameters need to be fine-tuned again. So this is the transfer learning approach. I trained my model on the pneumonia dataset, the medical images which were containing pneumonia trace. So after training, I took the weights from there and I took the entire model from there, the feature extracting model, and placed it over here. But then what I did was that the classification model, in the classification model, I just did the I reinitialized the classification model using reinitialization, and these weights I froze the layers which were in the present in the feature extractor model, but the layers which were in the VGG16 classifier model, those layers I retrained using my COVID data set. And firstly I reinitialized them using reinitialization, and then these weights were trained for the specifically for the binary classification task. So this was a part of supervised learning which I did on the data which I had collected from local hospitals with the help from OA Object Automation. So this is a look of VGG16 model. It contains the convolutional model in the starting, and then later on, after some number of convolutions, there is this softmax layer which classifies it. So what we are doing, if I could just explain you pictorially, that the convolutional and ReLU model, once trained on pneumonia dataset, their parameters and their values are fixed, since those can be used directly for our purpose also. But the softmax layer was being retrained because that will help us in classifying for our new task. So the milestone 3 was that I had to combine all these things, the server and client interaction part, the secure server and client interaction part, and this deep learning classification into one thing. So that the ultimate solution can come up and anyone can use it without having a knowledge of programming. So for that, first of all, I created an HTML website where people can put up their photos of this X-ray photos, and via post method of HTTP request, it sent those photos to the server, and the server was built on Python Flask environment. So what the server did was that server had saved the weights and my model classifications. So it used those model parameters to classify this either as a COVID patient or as a non-COVID patient. And since it was a post request, so it had to send some response. So in the response, I sent this value and an accuracy score. Accuracy score stated that, okay, the server, my model is telling that it is a 95% possibility that this patient is actually COVID affected, or maybe there is a 25% possibility that this is COVID affected. So this kind of accuracy also I sent back. So this thing will become much more clear when I'll show you the video demonstration. But this was pretty much it, which I did. And yeah, the VGG16 COVID classifier model was used over here. So these were the metrics which came up after the training on my system. So I got an around this recall rate of 95% and the efficiency of around 95, sorry, sensitivity of about 95%. So, and accuracy of about 97.5%. This model, I'll honestly say that this contains some overfitting because the data set was very small, but the approach followed was perfectly fine. Because of that, I was able to achieve such high accuracy. And I'm pretty sure that once the data set is out, once a larger data set is out, if we retrain it, just the last layers, if we retrain those last layers and set up, just fine tune the hyperparameters again, this will be a pretty good method of detecting whether the X-ray images are actually of a COVID patient or they are not of a COVID patient. So yeah, these are the loss function, and these are above one is the accuracy function. And as you can see that the validation accuracy just reached around 1 sometimes, but it stayed about 97% on average. So what are the future works? Future works are that instead of SSL encryption, we could use FTP or FTPS encryptions because they have implicit SSL encryption in them. So this makes us more. This makes our connection of the client and server more private and more secure. So, and the web app can be improved in a much better way with the patient dashboard and everything, with the user login, sign in, and etc. And if we use something like React, then we can directly use our mobile phones. Anyone can use their mobile phones to perform these classifications. One more thing which would make our model much better is that if we use Monte Carlo search. So what does Monte Carlo search does is that my model was just one model which I have built inside this, and if I can come up with 2 or 3 more such models which classify an image as COVID positive or COVID negative, then I can just average out all the outcomes to get a final one. So it's basically running the same classification through different models and averaging out the outcome. We can also approach other deep learning frameworks to improve the model working. But currently I have used VGG16 because as I told you that it was pretty much the state of an art algorithm that was working pretty much good for the pneumonia detection case. And once the model data is collected, once more data is collected with time, then we can definitely switch to different deep learning frameworks. In the DL model, the labeled data set is very expensive. So maybe some self-supervised techniques like variational autoencoders or adversarial networks can be used in the initial part for the purpose of more data generation. Once we have a pretty enough amount of data, then we can use some generative adversarial networks in the starting so that we can generate more data initially, and then we can proceed with the training. So this will make our model much more accurate towards the task of classification. Okay, so ending my presentation, concluding, I'll just show you some video, like 2 video demonstrations, which will make it pretty much clear that what this project was about and what was the product that was built in the end. Yeah, so this is the place where I'm setting up the server first. Okay, so it says that the server is set up on port 8080, I guess. Let's wait for a second. Okay, so the server is running on port 5001, and then I'll open this HTML file, HTML website which I built. So here, for example, I'm taking this patient name and patient ID, and then choosing an image. So first of all, I'll choose some random image, like it's not nothing related to our data. So just something like anything. So it will just give an error that uploaded image is not a valid lungs image. This was one more model which I used initially, so that to avoid sending any value uh, for the for the images which are not related to our purpose. So this was the invalid image detection part. Now this one's the main application where it will classify whether the image of lungs is a COVID patient or not. Again, I will just run the server first, then I'll open the HTML file, then I'll upload an image. Okay, so this one image, lungs image I'm sharing. So see, this was the output which I got. The patient name, patient ID, image name, predicted class is normal. So there were two classes. It will either predict it to be a normal or predict it as a COVID. So also there's a prediction accuracy. It is saying that it is 96% sure. It is 96% sure that it is a normal lungs X-ray image, and 3%, around 4% saying that okay, it might be a COVID image, but it is 96% sure that it is a normal image. Let's try with another X-ray image. These images, by the way, I took from the Google. So just for example, this image, it is saying that it is 95%, 95.5% sure that it is a COVID image, and around 4% sure that it might be a normal image. So based upon the accuracy and threshold is 20%. So sorry, 2%. So with that, it has predicted it to be the COVID patient to be COVID positive. So in the future works, as I said, that this method, this presentation and things can be made more uh, presentable. First of all, and second, this prediction values which I'm giving are coming from just one model. But in future, we can just put up 2 or 3 models when once more data set is given out in the market. Then we can make more models and take out the classification values from different models, and then apply that Monte Carlo search and get the final accuracy. That would be pretty much more accurate. It also stores the logs on the server, so these logs could come handy for the survey purposes, that how many people are using and how many people are testing on something. And through IP, we can trace their address also, that from where this request came of a COVID positive patient. So yeah, guys, that was my presentation. I'm ready for any question, any something you people want to ask.